Hi guys, this is Selina. Welcome back to one of my videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name's Selina and I release a crochet tutorial weekly with a free written pattern on my blog selinaveronique.com. I will be linking everything in the down bar as always. And yes, so welcome. So this week I decided to crochet by popular demand a new project for a pocket shawl slash scarf, and I've added a hood and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm trying to show you on camera. I hope this can be shown. It's an absolutely gorgeous project. This is the hood and it was really easy to make. There will be plenty of pictures up on my blog selinaveronique.com, so don't forget to check that out for all the pictures. And yeah, it was really easy to crochet, so if you're a beginner this could be perfect. And for this project, I used this yarn that I absolutely adore. Actually, I really like the new packaging. It's called Lion Brand. It's by Lion Brand yarn, sorry. And it's called Feels Like Butter. And it literally feels like butter, I'm not gonna lie. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I used 5 skeins of shade white. And I used also a 5mm crochet hook, a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors, and that's all you need. And yes, you will also need 2 stitch markers, but I just used pieces of random yarn. But yes, you will need 2 stitch markers too for this project. And I will be using US terms, and yeah, I hope you enjoy this tutorial. So to begin this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet what I call the body of this shawl. So this is what it looks like, and for me, I have it 67 inches in the length, so it's 67 inches long and 12 inches large. So this measures 12 inches. I will be writing all of this down again on my blog and the pattern, so check that out. All the details are in the down bar. So for this shawl, you are simply going to start by making a slip knot. So just go ahead and make a slip knot. Pop your hook through that slip knot. Tighten slightly, and what we are going to be doing is chaining 44. So just go ahead and chain 44. So 1, 2, 3. So I've just made a smaller sample, however you should have a longer chain with 44 chains. And just for your information, in case you want to make this shawl larger or smaller, this pattern is a multiple of 2 plus 2 for your base chain. So once you've got your 44 chains, you are simply going to be placing a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So just count 1, 2, 3 and 4 and go into that and place a double crochet into that. So just pull up a loop, go through 2 loops and then go through 2 loops. And what we are going to do now is place a 2nd double crochet into that stitch. So into that same stitch, just go ahead and place another double crochet. So basically we have 2 double crochets together inside 1 stitch, and this is what it looks like for now. It will straighten out, and this is our first V stitch. What we are going to do now is skip a chain and go into the next chain and place 2 double crochets into that. So just go ahead and place 2 double crochets into that chain. So and now a 2nd, and skip 1 chain and go into the next and place 2 double crochets into that. And it's simply going to be a repeat of placing 2 double crochets into 1 chain, skipping 1 chain, until the end of the row. So you should have all your V-stitches, and obviously you should have more than I do. And now I've reached the end of my row, and you should have obviously 44 chains to go through, but I'm just going to show you what to do at the end of your row. So you've got 2 chains left. You're going to skip 1 and go into the last chain and place just a simple double crochet into that. So just go ahead and place just 1 double crochet into that last chain space to finish off your row. And this is what row 1 should look like. And for row 2, so you should obviously have a longer row. So for row 2, we are going to be chaining 3. So just go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, turn your work, and this counts as your first double crochet. And what we are going to be doing now is simply placing a V-stitch into every V-stitch along this row. So you see, this is our V-stitch from the previous row, and we're simply going to go into that space directly and place 2 double crochets into that. So just go ahead and place a V-stitch, which is 2 double crochets together. There we go. And just place a V-stitch inside the V-stitch from the previous row. And now this is our next V-stitch. We're just going to be placing a V-stitch into that. On top of that, sorry. So just go ahead and place your V-stitch, and into the next just place a V-stitch into that, and into the next. And now we've finished all our V-stitches. Obviously you will have more, but we've got 1 stitch left, which is the chain 3 from the previous row, and what we are simply going to be doing is placing a double crochet into that directly. So just go ahead and place a double crochet into the stitch directly, like so. And this is what your row 2 should look like. And basically what we are simply going to be doing is repeating row 2 over and over. So just chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, and this is simply going to be a repeat of row 2. Just go ahead and place a V-stitch inside the V-stitch from the previous row, like so, and into the next V-stitch. And I'm just going to let you carry on, so I'm just going to show you once more. So this is just a repeat of the second row, so just go into the last V-stitch. Well, for me it's the last one. And again, in that chain 3 from the previous row, just place a double crochet into that. And this is what we are going to be doing. So you are simply going to be repeating row 2. So now that I've showed you how to make the body of the shawl, I'm going to show you how to crochet the pockets. So my pockets measure 10.5 inches large and 7.5 inches in the height. I will again be writing all of this down on my blog and pattern. So to begin, you are going to be making a slip knot. So just go ahead and make a slip knot. Pop your hook through, tighten, and now you are simply going to be chaining 37. So just go ahead and chain 37. 1, 2, 3. So I've chained a smaller amount for my sample, but you should have chained 37, and I'm now going to show you how to crochet your pockets. And what we are going to be doing now is half double crocheting into the 3rd chain from the hook. So just count 1, 2, and 3 and go into that 3rd chain and place your first half double crochet. So we've got 3 loops on the hook. Take your yarn and pull through 3 loops. Go into the next chain space and place a half double crochet into that. And our first chain 2 counts as a half double crochet. And just go ahead and place a half double crochet into each and every chain across until the end of your chain. So I've reached the end of my chain, and I'm just going to show you what to do next. So this is what it looks like. And for row 2, we are simply going to be chaining 2, 1 and 2, turn your work, and you are simply, so this counts as your first half double crochet and goes with this stitch. So we're just going to go into the second stitch and place a half double crochet into that. So just go ahead and place a half double crochet into that, and this is what it's going to look like. And then place a half double crochet into the next stitch and into the next stitch and into the next stitch, and you see I've almost reached the end of my row. So I'm just going to place a half double crochet into that half double crochet here, and now I've got my chain 2 from the previous row right here, and this counts as a half double crochet, so we are simply going to be placing a half double crochet into that chain 2, and this is what it's going to look like for now, but it is going to straighten out as we go along. So now you are going to chain 2, turn your work, and we are simply going to be repeating row 2. So this counts as our first half double crochet, so just go directly into the next half double crochet and into the next, and just repeat row 2 that I just showed you until you reach the end of this row. And don't forget your chain 2 from the previous row. Don't forget to place a half double crochet into that, and just repeat row 2 for 23 rows. So I'm just going to let you carry on doing this for 23 rows, and then I'll show you how to sew your pocket onto your shawl. So you should have your 2 pockets, and now I'm just simply going to show you how to sew these into your project. So basically I've counted 1, 2, 3 rows from the bottom of this shawl, because obviously we're gonna choose a side onto which we are going to sew the pockets in. We've left a long tail on one side for sewing, and yes, so I'm just going to place my pocket 3 rows in, so 1, 2, 3, and this seems good to me. I've placed it symmetrically, so I've got 1 V-stitch repeat and a half on one side and 1 1/2 V-stitch repeat on the other. So just make sure that you've centered your pocket. You are simply going to pop your needle into this. I'm going to just pop this loose end here just so that I sew it into my project. And now I'm just going to show you how to sew in this pocket. So I've zoomed in, and basically you're simply going to very simply sew your pocket into your project. So just go ahead, and there you go. So I hope you can see on camera. And basically you're just gonna use a very basic stitch to sew this in, and yeah, you're just gonna go into the shawl symmetrically, and you're very simply going to sew your pocket in. So basically just carry on doing that. I'm just gonna de-zoom a bit so there's nothing complex or complicated here. And basically you're just gonna go down, making sure that it's nice and centered, and you're going to sew it in here, and then up again, and then once you reach here, you're going to fasten off and tidy up your loose end, and you are simply going to be repeating the process on the other side. So I'm just going to let you do that, and I'll get back to you once you've completed that. So I'm back, and I've sewed on both my pockets onto my shawl and on the other side, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And now I'm going to show you how to do the hood of the shawl. So that's really easy. So what you have to do is fold your shawl like so. So this is the side where there are no pockets. And I'm just going to fold this in half so that both the pockets are on the outside, like so. And now, so I folded this in half perfectly, so make sure the sides of the shawl is aligned. And now you're just going to take this. So this is your center of the shawl, and what you are going to be doing is taking your tape measure, and you will be measuring 23 centimeters from the center. So I've zoomed in a bit. So 23 centimeters is 9 inches. So just measure that and place your first stitch marker in that stitch. So just go ahead and tie that here, like so. So I'm using yarn, but you can use any stitch marker of your preference. So that's 9 inches. We're simply going to do the same on the other side. So I'm just going to flip this over and measure once again 9 inches. And I'm going to tie my, and I'm just going to pop my stitch marker through that, like so. So just attach your second stitch marker. And there we go. This is where we are going to be crocheting our hood. So this is where we will be crocheting our hood. So in between those two stitch markers. So for this part of the project, you are simply going to be attaching your yarn where the stitch marker was. So I'm just going to attach my yarn like so onto this and make a double knot like so. And this is the wrong side of the stitches, so basically we are simply going to be working on that edge. So what we will do is pop our hook through and chain one. So chain one, and then you're simply going to go into the next stitch and place a single crochet into that. And like I previously said, this is the wrong side of the stitches, so you don't have like a clear stitch into which you will be crocheting, if that makes sense. So just make sure that you place your single crochets all the way along equally. So you're just going to be placing your single crochets equally all the way along, and you are going to be placing your single crochets until you reach your other stitch marker, and then once you reach that point you are going to place your last single crochet in that space and take your stitch marker out, and then I'll show you how to do row 2. So I've reached the end of this row, and I've removed the stitch marker, and now I'm just going to show you how to do row 2 of this hood. So you are simply going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, and this counts as our first double crochet. So this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet with this stitch. So we're going to go directly into the next stitch and place a double crochet into that. So just go ahead and place a double crochet into that and into the next stitch and into the next, and just carry on placing double crochets into each and every stitch along, and I'll show you what to do to finish off this row and to continue with the next rows. So I've almost reached the end of this row, so I'm just going to pop a double crochet into this, and then I've reached the chain 1, and I'm simply going to be placing a double crochet also into that. Now we are simply for row 3, actually it's row 3 of this hood, chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3, turn your work, and we are simply going to be repeating row 2 all the way along. And okay, so you're just going to carry on like I showed you, repeating row 2 of double crochets. So this counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to go into the second stitch with a double crochet, and you're just simply going to place double crochets all the way along. So I've now finished my rows of double crochets, and I've actually done 17 rows of double crochets for this hood, and now I'm just going to show you how to finish this hood off. So basically I've left a long tail for sewing. I've popped my tapestry needle through it. So what we are going to be doing now is turning the project inside out, because we want to sew this seam in, but we want it to be inside out. And this is the right side with the pockets, what our hood looks like unfolded. And we are going to be seaming this this hood together like this. So you're just going to seam this very simply. There are no tricks. I'm just going to use a mattress stitch. So I'm just going to go in and out of this project just to seam it together symmetrically. And you're just going to seam this, and I'm just going to let you carry on like this until you reach the end, and then I'll show you what to do. So I've just finished seaming my project. I hope you can see on camera. So this is my seam, and I'm just gonna gently tie a knot to finish off the stitch. So I'm just gonna tie a knot, a simple knot, and then another, and then you are simply going to be tidying up that loose end like you usually would. And now I'm just going to show you how to do the rest. So once you turn this inside out, this will be the right way with the pockets. And now I'm just going to show you how to crochet the border. So now that I've almost finished my project, so we've done the hood, we've done the sleeves, I am going to show you how to create the very simple border for this project. So you are simply going to be tying your yarn into any side. So I'm doing it here. So I'm just going to pop my hook So to create the border, I've just tied my my yarn into any stitch. You are simply gonna chain one, sorry. So I've chained one, and you are simply going to be placing a single crochet all the way along into each and every stitch across. I am tidying up my loose end as I go along, which is why I've got this loose end here. And basically just pop a single crochet all the way along. And you are simply going to be going into all of these stitches until this point. So at the corner, you are simply going to go into each and every stitch with a single crochet. You are going to go all the way along this side, and this is what I call the wrong stitch side, so the wrong side for the stitches, so you don't have like a specific stitch, if that makes sense. So just make sure you place plenty of single crochets along this edge, and basically this border is just to make the edge a bit neater. So basically it's just a border made of single crochets. Once we reach this side again, you're just going to go around the whole project with single crochets, and once you reach the hood, you are also going to be single crocheting all along the hood and then down again onto your project. And then once you reach the chain one that we just did, you are simply going to slip stitch and fasten off. And this will be all for this border. It's just to make sure that it looks a bit neater. So you can add whichever border that you want. This is the border that I decided to do for this project. I hope you enjoyed this project. It's been really great. I've loved it. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and don't forget to subscribe for a crochet video tutorial every week and a free written pattern. And yes, take care. Bye bye.